Ryan and Jungkook stood hand in hand in front of the old, dilapidated house that belonged to Taehyung. The paint was peeling off the walls. The roof was sagging and the windows were cracked. It was clear that the house had seen better days. Jungkook squeezed Ryan's hand tightly as they took in the sight before them. Ryan could see the pain in Jungkook's eyes as he stared at the house. She knew how much his brother meant to him. And she wanted to be there for him at this moment. But she still can't forgive Taehyung for what he did to her and everyone else. She gently squeezed his hand back and whispered, "Let's go inside." The kids ran inside the house, giggling, while Taehyung smiled at them. Making his way inside and inviting Jungkook and Ryan in. Taking a deep breath, Jungkook pushed open the creaky gate and led Ryan inside. The inside of the house was just as run down as the outside. The furniture was old and worn, and there were cracks in the walls. Their eyes scanned the whole place. It was so hard to even think that Taehyung, the son of a well known businessman, is living like this. The same Taehyung that woke up with three different types of drinks being served in bed was living in a house that looked like it was abandoned. As they made their way through the house, they heard a soft voice coming from one of the rooms. It was the kids, Yunjin and Sobin. Looks like they were getting along well. Taehyung spread a mat for them to sit and sat on the ground himself. Jungkook felt a lump form in his throat as he looked at his brother. Taehyung looked older, worn out by life, and the spark that was once there was dead by now. What have you done to yourself? He whispered. Even though Taehyung had made some unforgivable mistakes in the past, he was still Jungkook's brother and it hurted to see him like that. They chuckled sadly. Ryan looked around to see if Gia was there. You still didn't tell me. Where is Gia? Ryan asked, this time sternly. Taehyung gulped the knot forming in his throat and began speaking. When we ran away, it felt like our dream finally came true. Life was going good. We laughed, loved, and lived. We had Subin. But then, suddenly, it changed when the financial crisis started hitting us. We often found ourselves fighting and arguing for no reason at all. At some point, it became so toxic that it started affecting our baby, or Subin. So we decided to end things and walk on our separate paths. We divorced each other, and now 3 days Subin lives with me and 4 days with Gia. Taehyung remembered the time they argued and argued until they couldn't. Taehyung and Gia stood facing each other in the living room, the tension between them palpable. Subin, their young son, played obliviously in the corner with his toys. Unaware of the storm brewing between his parents. I can't believe you're still insisting on sending Subin to that expensive school, Gia. Taehyung said, his voice tinged with frustration. We simply can't afford it right now. Jia's eyes flashed with anger as she retorted, I don't care about the cost, Taehyung. I want the best for our son, and that school is the best. He deserves it. Taehyung shook his head, his jaw clenched. We have bills to pay, Jia. We can't keep living beyond our means just to fulfill your extravagant wishes. Jia's face twisted in disbelief. Extravagant wishes. Subin's education is not a luxury, it is an investment in his future. Taehyung scoffed. An investment we can't afford. We need to be practical here, Jia. We can find a good school for Subin that doesn't cost us an arm and a leg. Jia's voice rose in pitch. I won't settle for anything less than the best for our son, Taehyung. If you can't see that, then maybe we have a bigger problem than just money. Taehyung's eyes narrowed, his patience wearing thin. Are you seriously threatening our marriage over this, Jia? It's just a school. Jia's voice shook with emotion. It's not just a school, Taehyung. It's about our priorities and values as parents. And right now, I'm starting to wonder if we share even the same ones. The room fell silent, the weight of their words hanging heavily in the air. Subin looked up from his toys, sensing the tension between his parents. Taehyung took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. I don't want this to tear us apart, Jia. But we need to find a compromise that works for both of us. Jia crossed her arms, her expression stubborn. I'm not compromising on Subin's future, Taehyung. It would have been better if I'd never run away with you. And with those words being said, she left the room, leaving a scar on Taehyung's heart. Maybe I'm getting my karma for all the things that I've done to you, Ryan. He held her hands as if begging for forgiveness. Ryan, who was stunned by listening to all this, felt her eyes get blurry with tears. Trust me, Ryan, I did tell mom about my feelings for Gia a week before our wedding. And she told me that she'll handle it and will talk to you and Jungkook for marriage. I kept thinking that it was your and Jungkook's wedding. But when I got to know that it's yours and mine, my mind went numb and I did what I thought was right. I know it's traumatizing for you, and I do accept my mistake. I beg you, Ryan, all this weight on my heart was making it hard even to breathe sometimes. I am really sorry, Ryan. I've hurt you beyond repair. He sobbed, his voice breaking and filled with pain. All the hurt they have stored in their heart was finally pouring out as tears. I want to meet my sister, Ryan said, wiping her tears and standing up.